Hello everyone, I'm NiiNiiFC and this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm bringing you a special Snapchat Q&A. Now today actually marks the 1 year anniversary of the channel, so you know what, I decided let me do something special for the day, and this Snapchat Q&A will be a regular thing happening every single Friday, so please make sure you follow the Blue Lions Snapchat account. Send your video messages in. You don't have to show your face, you can just show the audio if you want to. Don't worry, and let me get straight into the video.
Hello Blue Lions TV. I just ask your suggestions for players we could get for our defense, midfield and strikers.
Now the first question is by Fregs, and he wants to know what players would I bring in for defence, midfield and attack. Now for defence, I really don't think we need a new centre back. I'm really adamant about that. I think Zuma, Christensen, Luis, Ko and Aspi is more than enough. We don't need 6, that's overkill. I think if anything, we need to bring in Alexandro as a left wing back because he actually upgrades that role and it's actually going to make our attack much more fluid. Now, I make this point quite a lot. With Victor Moses on the right hand side making runs forward, that actually allows Pedro to make those runs infield. And he doesn't necessarily have to come in, come out wide and help support the player, and that makes a massive difference to our attack because our front three needs to be close together. It's not quite the same like at Spurs where Harison or Son will push out wide to make Rose or Walker get forward. So I think with Alexandro on the left, Hazard isn't going to be given too much discipline. He's going to be allowed to play close to the goal. And we've got Alexandro who's a one-man army, and I think he'd be a perfect signing. Now on midfield, I don't really think we need a midfielder, but if you're talking about midfield, I'm actually going to switch it to an attacking player. I love to see Mahrez or Keita come to Chelsea, and I think if we were to sign one of them, maybe one of Pedro or Willian would have to go. But I feel that potentially those players would really bring more balance to the front three, because one key thing with our front three, other than Eden Hazard, Costa and Pedro have been too susceptible to losing the ball under pressure, and I just don't think that we can continue like that because as we've seen in really big games last season, like Tottenham, Manchester United, they really man-marked our front three and they really stopped us from doing anything because, you know, our front three are key because they bring the wing-backs into play. So it's really essential that they can keep the ball in close situations and not lose it so easily. And up front, well, you know what, I'm actually going to be doing a special video on this because I'm thinking, why do we necessarily have to go for a traditional number 9? Why not go for someone like a Sanchez or a Mertens? Not that exact player, but in the vein of that player, because again, I think they complement a front three more. And just to think, when we play with Pedro, Willian and Hazard as a front three, that's probably the most fluid our front three have ever been. And I think that really, that's a sign of things to come. I really think with Chelsea, instead of deciding to spend 90 million velocity, I think we should think outside the box because there seems to be great success in that regard. I think the prime example last year, Mertens being moved from the wings to up front, and look at the success that Napoli had to adapt. So I think it's time for Chelsea to start thinking outside the box.
With all the transfer situation problems we have, where do you think we will finish next season in the Champions League, the Premier League and all other competitions? And who do you think we're going to...
The next question is by Hassan, and it's a really good one. Well, if I'm to judge by what's happening right now at the moment, I would say that we're still favourites for the league. I mean, other than Man City signing Bernardo Silva, United signing Lindelof and Lukaku, again, United's problems are that they're not very efficient in attack, and I think the big thing is that Mourinho doesn't let the fullbacks push up, so the wingers are never close to goal. So in a way, they're always kind of disjointed in their attack. I think with Man City, I know Bernardo Silva's a great signing, but they still haven't announced any defenders, and that's the key thing. That was the main problem with them last year, why they struggled so much. Arsenal have signed Lacazette. Is that enough to guarantee them a league? Not just yet. I think they need another defender, another midfield player too, and maybe another attacking player on the right as well. Tottenham, they haven't strengthened at all, and they're not really a club that really strengthened that much. And I think this Spurs team next season, I think it's going to be the season where they reach their ends, unless they invest heavily in the summer so far. And I think so far out of all the teams, we've got the best balance. I mean, we won 30 games last season. That's the record. That's not, you can't do that by accident. we know how to win games. So I think currently, we're still favourites. But again, I'm going to answer this question again as the season goes on, and we can really assess, when all the clubs have made the key signs in their positions, and when we know what players are definitely going to come in. But I think that if we did get Alexandro, if we do get another attacking player and another striker, then I'm going to be even more confident of my prediction. But yeah, like I said, I still think that we're favourites for the league, just judging currently all the investments by other teams in the league. Now, I think Carling Cup is a trophy we can win. It seems that a lot of our young players are leaving the club, they're either going on loan or they're being sold with buyback fees. So I'm expecting us to play, quite strong teams in the Carling Cup next year. It's not going to be the same as, using the players like Chalobah, Aina and the rest. Now in the Champions League, I'm optimistic. Again, there's always a slim chance we can win it, but I think with how we play tactically, we're a counter-attacking team. Previously in the Champions League with Mourinho, it was all defend, 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 and we couldn't counter-attack as a team. I think the game against Atletico Madrid is a prime example. We're playing them away, we couldn't get out our own half, we couldn't string any passes together, and I think the fact with the three up front, because the front three play really close, you always have an outlet for counter-attack. So the minute they get the ball, the wing-backs get forward, and that's how, we make those fast transitions into the attack. So I think, honestly, I think a quarter-final, semi-final is possible in the Champions League next season, because I think our balance as a team is really, really strong. That's one of the main reasons why, like I said, we won 30 games in the Premier League last season. In the FA Cup, again, it depends. We've got a strong chance. Conte might have to adapt his approach. Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes. I think, again, we have to see what players come in. But maybe if Moses never got sent off, maybe, Costa gets a goal and we've got 11 men, there's a chance he would have gone on and beaten Arsenal. So, it's just always depends on the context of certain games.
Hey NiiNii, I'm a big fan of the channel. You're doing a good job. My question is, if Conte doesn't get his targets, do you think he might leave the club?
Thank you, Mess Yourself, for the question. Do I think that Conte will leave if we don't get the targets he wants? Well, I think he'll be disappointed, but I think Conte and the boards have a good relationship. I think, Conte's going to be getting, the contract he's on is really high. I think that instability of, making a quick sudden decision and leaving the country, I don't think that would be the most ideal thing, because there aren't many clubs available anyway for him to manage. So he'd have to take a sabbatical for a year. Does Conte want to do that? No, not after what he achieved in his first season. He wants to build on that. I think a lot of that talk seems to come from, journalists, sports writers just trying to put pieces together without any, without any credentials behind it. So a lot of that was just nonsense to me. I expect Conte to still stay. Do I think he'll get all his first choice targets? I'm not entirely sure, but if to judge it by last season, this guy wanted to bring in Nainggolan, Koulibaly, and instead he got Kante and David Luiz. Now, again, if this was Juventus and he ever got his prime targets, they wouldn't be able to bring in other high-end top-class targets. But at Chelsea, if we can't get the main top ones, we're bringing in, our second choice options are still of a very high caliber. I mean, look at Kante. Imagine if we signed Nainggolan, we wouldn't have Kante. Maybe Kante would have gone to United because they wanted him, or they would have gone to Arsenal and he would have strengthened them. David Luiz ended up being the best centre-back in the league and showed why he's one of the best in the world. So, again, they're not really weaknesses. So, I don't expect Conte to make such a rash decision and leave the club based on, not signing every top choice target. But again, I'm confident that he'll get one or two of them, and I think as the season goes on, as the transfer window goes on, I think it's going to be good.
So one of the best things about Blue Lines TV is the community aspect of the channel. It's a bunch of Chelsea fans on one channel. Is there going to be more opportunities for the fans to get involved in the channel like this one?
Thank you, Aaron, for the question. And yeah, that's something that we're really trying to build. And we're trying to find more avenues to really make the community even stronger. Now, I think the start of this Snapchat Q&A is going to be a good way for the community to come together. And one of the reasons why I started it was that when I used to do these live streams or match reviews, match previews, I couldn't really answer questions as I was doing the video. And also at the same time, people were having separate conversations unrelated to what I was even talking about. So it wasn't really the most effective thing, effective way to really address questions. So I think with the Snapchat one, it's going to be a weekly thing every single Friday. I think it's going to be a good chance for everyone to have a voice and really have their opinions. Plus there's other avenues we're thinking of exploring. Now, I think there's a possibility we might even reintroduce the, subscriber live streams. Find a good way of doing that. And we're looking into doing podcasts for next season, and we've been thinking of making a website. So maybe if people wanted to, write certain articles, that's a possibility. But again, there's a lot of plans. We haven't fully addressed everything, but having a strong community is the key thing that we really want to do with the channel. Anyway, thank you for all the questions for the Snapchat Q&A today. I really enjoyed answering them. Again, it's going to be every single Friday from now on. So of course, add the Snapchat account, that is Blue Lines TV. Send a video message. You don't necessarily even have to show your face if you're feeling nervous, but I think it'd be a good way to really build the community, and maybe you guys can add each other on Twitter, interact with each other, and then, really help us grow this channel together. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching the video today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want your question answered, at the Snapchat account, I'm NiiNiiFC, this is Blue Lines TV.